put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
And welcome to Tobago Updates Morning Show. I am your host, Renessa Ortiz, and it is Monday, June 15th, 2026. It is a new week. It is an opportunity to start fresh and to achieve all those goals. In studio this morning with me is Alex Brown. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Renessa. It's nice to have you back.
Yes, it's good to be back.
Good morning, viewers. Happy Monday.
Yes, happy Monday. But before we get any further into the programming this morning, we head on over to news in 90 seconds. Tobago's aviation sector has entered a new era. Minister of Works Julian John officially handed over the completed globally certified terminal building at the A&R Robinson International Airport to transport officials and the THA yesterday. Boasting dual LEED green certification, fully tested airfield lighting, and commissioned baggage security systems, the project now enters into operational phase following intensive readiness training. Defense Minister Wayne Sturge confirmed that Trinidad and Tobago's Independence Day Parade is officially coming back this year during Friday's Standing Finance Committee sitting. A $2.3 million budget allocation will fund the entirety of the national celebrations, including the traditional military parade, evening functions, and events at the Queen's Park Savannah, marking a major return after last year's complete absence of formal parade festivities. In financial news, Parliament approved a $94 million supplementary allocation for the THA. Finance Minister Davindranath Thakur detailed that $50 million will cover essential pre-construction and architectural designs for Scarborough Secondary School. The remaining $79 million is dedicated strictly to salary increases and back pay arrears for Tobago teachers. And finally, a local success story is inspiring aspiring aviators. Tobago WASA employee Akil Patrick successfully earned his internationally recognized private pilot license through Brico Air Services. Operating under local Civil Aviation Authority regulations, the milestone marks a major achievement in his aviation journey. And that was the news in 90 seconds. Tune in again at 6:30 p.m. for our full newscast. But Alex, before we discuss any of the details within the news in 90 seconds, we want to head on over to the birthday celebrations. We're heading on to that celebratory segment of our morning. First up on our birthday shout outs, we have Devon Brown. Happy birthday to you from us here at the Tobago Updates family. Wishing you a bright and beautiful year ahead, filled with prosperity, love, laughter, and all the great things that you could possibly imagine out of this new year. Happy birthday again to you.
Next on the list is Patrick Shepherd. Happy birthday to you, Patrick. We trust that today is going to be a day that you enjoy to the fullest and that it begins a year full of your realizing your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. Happy birthday to you from all of us here at Tobago Updates.
Up next, we have Marlon Mitchell. Happy birthday to you. I'm loving the scenery in the back, Alex, and I'm hoping that today you really take some time to visit the beaches here on the island of Tobago. Take some time to go.
One will do, you know.
Dip in the sea, take some salt water, just take some time to really feel the breeze on your face and really bring in this birthday with peace and serenity, and that the rest of this year is also filled with a lot of peace, a lot of prosperity, and that you spend some time with those who love, cherish, and appreciate you.
Next on our shout out list is Desmond Woods. Happy birthday to you, Desmond. Very dapper looking in this picture. We trust that today is going to be one that is as bright as your smile and as well put together as you are, and that it begins for you a year that is full of purpose and promise. Happy birthday to you.
Up next, we have belated birthday greetings going out to Anderson James. I'm sure that you spent your birthday with those who love, cherish, and appreciate you. You took some time to really celebrate, probably eat some cake, eat some ice cream, just relax, spend some time with family and friends. And you know, I know over the weekend, a lot of individuals are really taking in the World Cup. So I'm sure you probably were taking in the World Cup as well. And I hope that you have a great year ahead.
And finally on the list, we say happy belated birthday to Pastor Tony Mapp. This is not a stranger by any chance to the majority of people in the Tobago environment, and I dare say around the world. Happy belated birthday to you. We trust that you had a really wonderful day and that it began for you a new year of favor and prosperity. Happy birthday to you.
And this has brought us to the end of our birthday shout-outs this morning. To those of you who did not make it on our lineup, we want to say happy birthday to you, wishing you a bright and prosperous day ahead and a beautiful year ahead. Now, Alex, within the news in 90 seconds, we saw that Minister of Works Julian John officially handed over the completed globally certified terminal building. And I know that has been something that has been long awaited for quite some time for citizens here on the island of Tobago, and by extension, we look at those who are involved in the tourism sector and the tourism industry. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, let's see how the operationalizing is going to actually go. As with any new thing there, I'm certain there are going to be a few challenges in the adjustment, but let's hope that they don't last too long and that we can quickly smoothen out the operational side of things. And then we'll see whether or not, I have my own thoughts on that, but let's see whether or not a new terminal building is going to make a difference in how many people are willing to come to the island. And my own view on that is that nobody travels to see an airport. But let's see how this is going to impact the tourism on the island.
And that's interesting that you mentioned that, because that is also part of the conversation that we've also been seeing within this space. Because while yes, we would upgrade and we'd have terminal buildings to facilitate the tourism, boost the tourism economy, we also need to take into consideration the other aspects that also contribute to creating that tourism economy that we want to see here on the island of Tobago. So as you've rightfully said, we want to see the operational rollout. We're hoping that things really do go smoothly and that everything goes above board and in accordance with all the rules and regulations that we have to follow here within Trinidad and Tobago, and also as it relates to certifications, and just hoping for an overall the best turnout possible in all of
Indeed,
this.
it's been a very costly investment, so we're hoping that at the end of it all, we're not crying foul in any way, but that we can see some significant improvement in the way things happen.
And we're also seeing Tobago teachers getting during the standing
media review.
Yes, we're seeing that we have the remaining 79 million dedicated strictly to salary increases and back pay arrears for Tobago teachers.
I'm not questioning whether they deserve the money, but it makes me think that two things happen when you have to do this. One is that there's something called the time value. I think that's the way it's put off money. And what you could have done with $1 yesterday, you can't do today. So while it seems a big figure, them teachers getting plenty of money, by the time each individual teacher gets their own due, they won't be able to do with that money what they would have done if they had gotten it while it was due. And so I'm thinking that the time has come where we should no longer make it a big thing to allow arrears for employees to build up and then you have to find all this money. Let's do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, because the economic spin-off of that, when it's done this way, is that the government now has to keep finding this money in lump sums, which we don't have. And secondly, it doesn't translate by the time it reaches the recipient. It doesn't really translate to significant economic activity. Some of them may have debts that they may just choose to liquidate and stuff like that. So you don't see a real economic benefit from this kind of activity. So you're going to debt and you're not even able to repay the debt to be able to pay the debt you owe. So I think that is something that we need to try and avoid as we press to the future, and just try to make sure that we are able to pay people what they're due when it's due, and that will allow for a better overall economic outcome.
And those are some words that we can ponder on as we head on over.
No, I kind of excited, you know. It's a man from Wasagi private pilot's license.
Yes,
I never thought I'm an aviation enthusiast.
No, I know you're an aviation enthusiast. I know that much.
Whenever I see somebody get a license, I get so excited.
Yeah, it was really a nice, in terms of news, feel-good news within the Tobago space. It's really good to see good news coming out into the space. We always want to commend our young people or individuals here on the island of Tobago for aspiring to reach great heights. And this is no small feat, being able to acquire such such recognition in terms of license, pilot license, that takes serious dedication, serious work, and it's nothing to take lightly. So we want to congratulate again Akil Patrick for successfully earning his internationally recognized private pilot license. Congratulations.
Congratulations, sir.
Now, Alex, this is your time to shine. I'm handing over to you for you to share with us and the viewers
all week last week.
and the viewers what we have in store for them this morning on the rundown.
So we have a potentially packed morning this morning. First off, unfortunately, we start the morning with discussing police brutality. It's not a pleasant discussion, but it's one that we have to have because it's part of the reality that we face in our society. So we're talking this morning about some of that. We're also talking men's mental health. I've realized we're talking this morning about things that we usually don't talk about, but those are important things. So we're also talking men's mental health, and then we wrap up the morning with discussions on the upcoming Tobago Carnival. That's what we have for the rundown this morning.
And viewers, there you have it. We want to thank all of you who are joining us on YouTube, Facebook, AMPLIA, Flow, and Digital. Thank you for making Tobago Update your #1 station. Stay right here with us. We'll be right back. And remember to
share the live, share the live, share the live.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Out of my dreams to my real life. This girl, I wanna know you feel like, yeah. Come closer to me, let the stars align, yeah. In the middle of the night, you bring the sunshine. Miss Lady, she have a pot on the fire, burn a flame when she cooking.
Coming up, hot plates, cold drinks, and chill vibes were the order of the month in Antigua and Barbuda. Top chefs, tasty menus, influencers, and foodies. The boxes were ticked, kitchens buzzing, and grills fired up. It's the one and only Antigua and Barbuda Culinary Month with Caribbean Passport TV on this station.
Stay tuned for what's coming next.
My name is Carpage. I'm the head coach of St. Jago High School boys track and field team.
My name is Joseph Small. I am the head coach of the girls female program. Preparing an athlete is not just running on the track. You have the mental aspect, you have the nutrition aspect, and you have the support and the motivation. So there's a lot of factors that we have to look into, and we have to try to see how best we can deal with them as best as possible.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Make your goals a reality this season with Mount Pleasant Credit Union. Tobago's choice, we got you smiling. Come and feel that mid-year feeling, oh yeah. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union. Tobago's choice. You know, every loan wants to prove more reasons to celebrate. Chance to win big, doesn't that feel great? Up to $3,500 in exciting gift certificates. Share investment starts as low as $2,500. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans. Let your goals grow. Whoa. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice. You know, from the reef, from the reef to the road, from the reef to the road, from the reef to the road. Tobago calling, sweet vibes, sweet wine, everybody falling. We bring the culture straight to you. Tobago updates, we keeping it true.
Oh gosh, Tobago updates on your screen. Here we go. You're home for October, can't even show. From the big stage shine to the rapid roll line, we bring Tobago to the world in real time.
Tobago updates, Tobago updates. Carnival 2026, we said the pace. Wave your flag. Island love trimming all around you. Big king love turn for the rhythm start.
Tobago updates, Caribbean art.
Okay. 335, 336, 337, 338, 339.
Counting on your fingers again. No wonder you lose your business.
Grandpa, thanks for helping me start over.
You not lucky in business, you know. As a child, you tried to sell hog plum. That failed. As a teenager, you and your boyfriend tried to break into the jewelry business. But hey, where that boy end up?
He live in Aruka, in the Grove. The golden one.
Oh, child, if you want to get into business, you have to have your financial records intact. But hey, do you know your numbers?
Of course, 624-333.
No, child, your numbers, your ratios, your equity ratios. You have a financial handicap.
What?
You need to see somebody about that. Anderson.
Who?
Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago, they offer tax and accounting services. They know about financial management.
Grandpa, I started this business with nothing.
And nothing is what you will end up with unless you call Anderson Services. Here.
Okay, this card is nice.
Yeah.
What's this?
Your rental fee. Have business will pay rent. Hot and groovy in the soca party.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, morning.
Thank you for staying with us, viewers. As promised before the break, we're talking police brutality, police killings, and we're not going to try to be beating the police service over the head this morning, but we're talking with Senator Melanie Roberts Rajman, who has some concerns for how these acts and the conduct of many of the police officers have impacted families here in Tobago. Good morning, Senator Rajman, and welcome.
Good morning to you both. Good morning to all of Tobago. Good morning to the listening public. Thank you for having me here today.
We have had, unfortunately, as part of our reality in Trinidad and Tobago, a number of extrajudicial killings by police officers. We've also had a number of incidents where police officers have been recorded being involved in some very, very serious physical altercations with members of the public under varying circumstances. Yes. Often we talk a lot about the police officers, whether we say good or bad. We talk about the victims of their actions, whether we say good or bad. And sometimes we seem to forget that there are families who are impacted by these events, and that is primarily your concern. So start by sharing with us your general concerns over the impact of these incidents on families.
Yes, of course. Let me start by saying this. I'm glad that you prefaced by saying that the discussion here this morning is not to beat the police officers. We acknowledge that there are really good officers out there doing their job, keeping us safe, protecting the country, and we salute them. I have noticed over the past year, just over a year, there have been a few incidents in Tobago that have not received the attention that I believe they should have received. We've had families still asking for answers, asking for justice, asking for the status of investigations into these matters. And for the most part, I think that the matters that I want to highlight this morning, they have been unprovoked incidents, so they have really kind of touched the public in a certain kind of way. They remain fresh in our minds. I think a few weeks ago in the Senate we would have debated and passed the Victims' Rights Bill, now soon to be Act, and that sort of lays out certain principles with regards to victims of crimes and their families. Families are also defined as victims in the Act, you know, and in the Act hopes and seeks to acknowledge the impact that these activities, these events have on the families of the actual victims or the recipients of brutality. You know, and a lot of times when we think of crime and criminality across the islands, we fail to really give any real attention on brutality and criminal activity or alleged criminal activity coming out of the police force or of the defense force. So I have been, over the past year, asking questions in Parliament, asking questions of the Minister of Justice, asking questions to the Minister of Homeland Security, with the aim particularly of getting answers into the status of investigations and just kind of knowing, just trying to see if these families, specifically in Tobago, that's where I'm concerned, right? Trying to see where the investigations are, what kind of answers, what kind of supports has been given to these families. And to date, I have not received the kind of responses I've been hoping to receive. The families have not received that as well. And then last week, we know that we had another incident. Luckily, that one did not end up in a death. However, the victim is in critical condition in the hospital right now. So I just wanted to highlight them, shed some light on them, bring them back to the forefront of the public's mind, hopefully with the outcome of getting some renewed action and vigor behind them. The last time I would have asked into a few of them, you know, you kind of get your general generic answers. The file going somewhere, we waiting for a document. That's always the answer. We're waiting for some documentation. The file somewhere, it will get back to you, but then you don't hear anything further.
Now, one criticism that is often raised when we hear about police-involved shootings or incidents is that these investigations usually take very long. Why do you think some of these delays actually occur? Because you just mentioned you've asked and you're saying that they're saying that a file is somewhere about it hasn't gotten to where it needs to be in terms of getting that investigation underway.
Yeah, I think it's a variety of reasons. Generally speaking, I think that they're under-resourced, and there might be a capacity issue as well in terms of being able to produce the reports and undertake the investigation. I think we see that generally. So investigations on a whole, barring a few of them, we've seen a few of them that have moved a little bit too fast to be, you know, to create cause for concern. But generally speaking, you've seen where these investigations take a while. I think in particular with regards to police-involved situations, there is a tendency to want to protect your own, so that if you don't have to look into it, as much as you don't have to look into it, they don't look into it, or as much as you don't have to write a report or run an analysis, you don't. So I feel like there might be some internal deliberate delays and obstructions that happen in order to protect one's own.
I wanted to get to that because you started out, and I wanted to commend you and say you're very kind in the way you you define or present a view as to what may create some of the delays, because the under-resourcing of the police service, to my mind, is a little bit questionable. I'll be very honest. I am not certain. I have looked at some matters that the police have investigated. I've looked at the speed of the investigations, and it makes me wonder whether we really as under-resourced as sometimes we hear. I don't know that the police have, over the course of my lifetime, done a good job in convincing the populace that if there are incidents involving police officers, they are thoroughly and swiftly investigated. I think even some of the comments themselves that are made suggest, and again, this is not about bashing, this is just about the impression that you present in the way that you present it, that investigations into alleged law breaking, let's kind of put it that way, by police officers would be as thoroughly investigated and as swiftly investigated as others. And I think that's something that probably we have to probe a little further to gain an understanding as to why we're going back to your reason for being with us this morning. Why we're not hearing at least status reports as to where some of these investigations lie. You said that there are some specific matters or incidents that are of concern to you. You want to share any of those? Are those issues that you can publicly share without necessarily compromising?
Of course. There are ones that we all know about here in Tobago. So we had, and I wrote them down because they're so dear to me, and every single day that I go to Parliament, these names are on my little notepad, because any opportunity I get, I mention these names. So we have Ronald Marcel. He was killed in Bethel last year, April 25th, 2025. It's been over a year. A few weeks ago, his mom was actually on the media asking for answers. We all saw the footage from that incident, and regardless of how you feel about him, regardless of what his background was, what we saw was a handcuffed civilian, properly restrained, and we saw the very gruesome killing of that on camera. For me, that's one of those that's easy enough to investigate because you have the information there. You see the circumstances surrounding it. And then we had Mr. Frank Sandy, 74 years old, a pensioner, an older man, mistakenly went to the door of his neighbor and he was shot and killed, 70 years old, and that happened on May 30th, 2025. Still no closure to that matter. Again, for me, that's a simple one. He was not shot by a police officer in the course of his duties. He was not shot while he was committing an offense, anything of the sort. Simply a mistake by an elderly, unarmed, very innocent old man. Now we have no answers into that. His family has not been able to get any answers. And then if you come to this year, we had Kevon Lewis, and thankfully this did not result in a fatality. However, he was brutally assaulted in Crown Point by 4 persons alleged to be members of the defense force. It was so bad that the public actually had to intervene and put themselves in danger and come to his rescue. And we saw, and he's still recovering, by the way. I've been in touch with his father and he is still on the road to recovery, but we saw how gruesome that was. When I went to Parliament and I asked the Minister of Defense about the status of investigation, what's happening with his officers, whether or not they're being reprimanded, whether they're still on active duty, he just said, it's ongoing, don't ask me anything else. And he dismissed it. It was very dismissive. It boiled my blood, the way that one in particular was managed. And then we see the other day we had Osei Murray, June 8th in Bloody Bay. And thankfully, again, not a fatality, but he's now in critical condition. I think he lost a kidney. He has damage to his liver and to his intestines, and he is fighting for his life. And his family, again, they're saying this was some kind of private matter involving, and it had no reason to get to this. It was alleged that he had a bamboo in his hand, but yet he was shot. And I saw, I think 4 days ago, the, what do you call it? The PCA, the Police Complaints Authority, said that they're going to start looking into it. But of course, as you mentioned, these things take forever, they drag on, and I guess the TTPS just hopes that it kind of goes into oblivion and we forget. But we need to not forget, Tobago is a very small space. And it's one thing where a civilian is injured or they're killed in the commission of a crime. Not saying that is less offensive or is less sensitive, but some leeway is given there. But where you have 4 very innocent, almost unprovoked situations happening in such a small space as Tobago, where we ball, all our ways one family, you would think that there would be some sort of urgency coming out from the TTPS to at least give these families some sense of relief, some sense of justice, at least to let them know what is going on. We can't talk about victims' rights, but then we discard and disregard victims where the act has been perpetrated by a member of the defense force or by a member of the police service. So those are really and truly my concerns. And we also have to think about the context in which we're existing right now. Public faith Public comfort, public perception in the police service is at an all-time low. People just do not trust the police. So now more than ever, they need to be taking the necessary steps to rebuild and regain that trust. And that starts by holding each other accountable for these kinds of actions involving people like these.
And just tagging off of accountability, and you mentioned officers not being reprimanded or not seen as being suspended when certain issues come to light within the public space. So it shows the public that there is no redress for them in terms of if those in authority, those who are put there to protect and serve, aren't also held to the same standard that the citizens are to be held at.
Correct.
Now, what does meaningful justice and accountability look like in these cases based on your opinion, especially as it relates to the families, especially as it relates to the victims, in terms of the overall outlook on how the country would see everything once these issues are addressed?
Sure. So first of all, these incidents shouldn't happen in the first place, right? At least the types that I've outlined here, these shouldn't happen in the first place. But when they happen, I would think justice accountability looks like this. Immediate reprimand of the police officers. I do not believe that any officer that's found in this kind of situation should remain on active duty pending an investigation. So they should be removed from active duty. They should be suspended. The investigation should be given high priority. The family should be entitled and should be given updates as the investigation moves. The public should also be updated to the extent that it doesn't compromise their investigation, but the public should also be updated in real time about the status of the investigation. And then once there's an outcome, there needs to be even timelines on these things. When these are open and shut type of matters, there needs to be strict timelines on these, and the public and the families need to know what the outcome of these investigations are in a timely manner. But on top of that, you also need to provide a certain type of support for the families. Remember, they're dealing with pain, they're dealing with loss. So the emotional support that they need, the psychological support that they need, it needs to be coming out from the state.
There's another, Senator, another dimension, as it were. We've looked at a growing leaning, as it were, to violence in the society.
Yes.
But it seems as though our services and those who are to protect and to serve and to defend us are not immune. And on the one hand, I understand it from the perspective that we take them out of the same society where there's violence. But it seems as though the training and the operational practices in these services does not do enough to lead many of them away from the propensity to violence. Do you think that there's probably need to address training and so on in the services so that people who otherwise may be inclined, and I'm saying simply because we just are violent people, can probably be guided away from that and find alternative means of addressing issues that they face?
Yes, definitely. And I'm glad that you brought that up. That's why, yes, when I mentioned the word capacity issue, that's usually my nice way of saying they can't make. Right, that whenever I say there's a capacity issue, that's my diplomatic way
I
of
just love
saying.
anybody who would publicly use the dialect.
I'm saying they can't make. I think you've identified a very huge gap. The training, the initial training, I think we need to even relook the entry requirements. I don't know what kind of psychometric testing is done to begin with, but while you're there, your initial intake, your initial training, and then the ongoing training that needs to happen. I know in certain jurisdictions, for instance in California, I think if it's not every 6 months, it's every 9 months, police officers undergo training in a variety of areas. One is use of force kind of training, and the idea is to steer them away from having to necessarily discharge their weapons. So they're trained in disarming people, in hand-to-hand combat, that kind of thing. They're trained in de-escalating volatile situations, being able to talk down a situation, being able to avoid a situation in the first place. So I think we need to see those kinds of things happening here. We also need to continuously be looking into even the activities of your police service. They need to be under continuous scrutiny, because the reality is quite a few of them find themselves in nefarious activity as well. But because they are police, they're not necessarily scrutinized as other members of the public are scrutinized. But the fact is, once you're in the force, you should be compelled to undergo continuous training, continuous upgrading, continuous psychometric testing, continuous counseling also, because they're exposed to a lot, they see a lot, and I'm sure it plays on their psyche. But also continuous scrutiny, because you cannot be the law but operate outside of the law.
And that's such a great way to end the interview this morning. It's also one of my personal beliefs. If you're someone who is placed in authority in terms of upholding the law, you should also be leading by example. And we are hoping that going forward, that these individuals that you've highlighted here this morning, they start to get the redress that they deserve, that the families get the updates that they need, and the justice that you are here advocating for this morning. So I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning, Senator Melanie Roberts-Rajman.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, viewers, we want you to stay right here. We'll be right back after the break. And remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Make your goals a reality this season with Mount Pleasant Credit Union. Tobago's choice, we got you smiling. Come and feel that mid-year feeling, oh yeah. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice. You know, every loan wants to prove more reasons to celebrate. Chance to win big, doesn't that feel great? Up to $3,500 in exciting gift certificates. Share investment starts as low as $2,500. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, let your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice, you know.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Out of my dreams to my real life. This girl, I wanna know you feel like, yeah. Come closer to me, let the stars align, yeah. In the middle of the night, you bring the sunshine. Miss Lady, she have a pot on the fire, burn a flame when she cooking.
But you find you taking long to play the card. Come on, I'm all inside, you so good, but Yeah, look at it. Yo, what school you went by?
Diane Bishops, boy.
Bishops?
Yeah,
Sure,
we know
man?
the baddest that's come out of Bishops, sir.
The baddest?
But telling her,
Who is the baddest? Man, you went night and night, man. I is the baddest.
boy, Bishops is the
Ever
best,
let
boy.
nobody hear you saying that. Yo, what's going on with Tola? Here, what's going on? It's only one way to settle this.
We'll be live on Youth Voice TV where I, your host Multibass, will be hosting the Rep Your School DJ competition where DJs will go head to head in a crazy battle to secure the title. We have cash prizes of $10,000 to come out and win and a lot of amazing prizes. Guys, what are you waiting for? Let me come out, come and showcase your skills. Come let me do some jobs.
So guys, there are two categories for DJs that are out of school up to 35 years, and for the DJs that are currently in school, it must be up to 19 years of age. So guys, get ready. It's all about Rep Your School. It's all about the DJ competition.
Who will bring the best vibes? Who can control the crowd? And who will earn the bragging rights? You get a chance to be a part and witness the rise of the new DJ generation. So this is Youth Voice, Rep Your School DJ, live on Tobago Updates. Stay tuned.
Youth Voice, Rep Your School DJ competition. Rep Your School.
And I have never, ever tried anything from the dirt oven.
Let's go to the backyard dirt oven on a Thursday. And talk about authentic. On entry, I felt at home. I felt like I was going to visit my loving grandmother on a weekend. The kind of weekend where she showers you with love, stories, and food. This place is a home away from home. And just like I would do at home, I popped the question, what you had to eat day? And boom! Coconut drops, boom, bread, boom, garlic bread, boom, hops, boom, coconut tart, boom, jam tart, and boom, something they call nuts. And just like that, Mistress Baker was ready to pop them in the oven. And don't worry, she had some help. And while we was waiting, I said, let we hear from Mistress Baker herself.
Well, we've been operating for a couple of years now. We started, this was a COVID project. We operate strictly on Tuesdays only. You don't keep stock, we only sell on Tuesdays.
Such a sweet lady. Hey, AMPLIA, it's ready. When last you see a nice golden brown bread, sir? Backyard bakery for the win. AMPLIA, a GT, I finally get me the oven bread with a little extra goodies on the side. You might be asking, where they're located? They are located on Bukaru, right on Nightingale Avenue, right before Racetrack Wheels if you're coming from town. Just look for the green hedge. You can't miss it. Pause. Check out the menu they one time. Honestly guys, this is an experience I will never forget. It's a home away from home, a place filled with love, life, and most importantly, good bread.
Nice.
If I have to call a supervisor one more time to sign off on a customer because their financials are in a mess, I will scream.
Hey, don't scream in a bank. That have lockup in it.
It's either they're not registered properly, or you know what? We could just forget about annual returns, right?
Compliance is a bad word to most of them. Haul your compliance out of here. But let me eat.
What is wrong with Trinbagonians? I mean, it has so much help they could get out there.
Well, you know, Trinis, we don't like to spend we money.
But you know what? Be comfortable with losing we money. That make it any financial
What people should do is call Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago.
Wait, what? Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago?
Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago Tax and Accounting Services. Yeah, they offer help from registering your business to filing your tax. My lunch is over.
Wait, tell me more.
No, go and scream in the bank. You go and scream in the bank.
No, Antoine, don't get one sooner.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back. We're shifting the conversation a bit to Tobago Carnival celebrations. We have in studio with us Miss Maslin Ned of Maslin Ned and Associates, along with Selwyn. Good morning and welcome to the both of you.
Good morning. Morning.
Now tell us about the launch that is taking place on June 19th. What can patrons expect when they come to the launch for what we call Euphoria 2K26?
Okay, well, as everybody know, saying good morning to everybody. As everybody know, Maslin Ned and Associates have been doing this for a long time. So this is my 5th year in the October Carnival. And I have invited other bands to join with Maslin Ned and Associates. So we form a group of named Savor Tobago. So it's something new that we are doing together. So we have Pretty Mass, Juve, Night Mass. So we will be doing our launch at on the 19th at Anchor's Bar. They'll be having an event also. So we was invited to take part.
Now will attendees get their first opportunity to experience the costumes, the themes, the packages for the upcoming October Carnival?
Yes, we also doing pre-registration also. So we'll be having a jam-pack event. You come starting from 4, we'll be doing from 4 to 9, and then we having the after party. But they'll be also having, as I said, an event also at Anchor's Bar. So, you know, come along, have fun, see what we have to offer. So as I said, it's 4 bands coming together, and we are still inviting other bands to come along. So for now we have Maslin Ned and Associates, which is myself. We'll be doing Euphoria, which means reveling. You have one Janelle Eastman, new creation. She's also doing Pretty Mass. We have Yankee World Design. She's doing Juve. And then we have Silver here, who's on my side here. He's doing Juve and Night Mass. So you have a jam-pack
So Silva, you're doing Night Mass and Juve. Tell us a bit about your concepts and your inspiration, and what can patrons look forward and expect when they come on this event on June 19th?
Hey, wonderful. So on the 19th at Anchor Bar and Grill, so we're doing an entire star-studded show. For this year, as far as for Juve and Night Mass, we say why not tap into the colors of the Caribbean? So we come in real bright colors, real neon colors, non-stop vibes. We're taking it on the road this year. So we come to kind of give a new spin and our new twist to the carnival season as far as Juve and Night Mass. Because those things are building. We've listened and we've talked to most of our patrons out there, and they said they need something nice. They need some vibes in the Night Mass and the Juve, so we're bringing that. We're also bringing some nice colors. So gents, come out with your ladies, ladies come out with your gents. Let's have a good time. Let's show the world what Tobago can offer.
Now, you spoke about the after party at the event that will be held on June 19th. Tell us a bit about the entertainment or special guests that would be there to make this entire event cohesive.
So well, on the 19th with the band launching, that's this Friday. So we're having it at Anchor Bar. I shout out to the whole Anchor Bar team. Making that possible, and we said, you know what, let's give the people something for the holiday that's coming. So like we said, we have 4 bands. We're coming non-stop, star-studded. Costumes is on $1 million, so we say, why not give our patrons something to give to them for their holiday? And you never know, you know, Father's Day is coming up right after that. So ladies, gents, you know, Dad will want to jump up on the road too, so we give all of that in one thing.
Now, when we talk about Tobago Carnival, we also look at it as an opportunity for business growth, especially for individuals who are heavily involved within the carnival industry in terms of costume making, in terms of employing individuals to be a part of your mass camp to help bring the entire collection, the entire set together in terms of what it would look like on the road, and also providing a service for patrons to come and enjoy the experience in their costumes. Now, what role has that played for you over the years, and some of the challenges or some of the things that you're hoping to gain from this year's edition of Tobago Carnival?
Well, for me, you know, is friends and family that's come together to help with Maslin and Associates production. For instance, where my designs come from, one Yankee Murray will design. She's Tobago, young, upcoming designer. She's in Mass also. She does modeling, everything. She does the works. So she puts my production together. I give her that push and she gives me that push also. So Janelle Eastman, she also is in Mass. So she helps also do those lovely back pieces and head pieces that my band puts together. So, you know, we say here, we will work together as one team. So that is why we come up with Savor Tobago. So we want to take this worldwide. We no longer stopping at Tobago alone. We're taking it to starting Tobago, go to Trinidad, and you know, maybe we'll journey crop over. You never know, we will take it. So the production is mainly done by friends and family. We're looking for, as I said, we are looking at other bands who might already have the costumes and they want to come on the road. They could contact us and come and jump with us. And as I said, the theme for this year is Euphoria, and the meaning of Euphoria is reveling, so we're reveling on the road.
Now, have you seen significant growth over the past 5 years, the 5 editions of Tobago Carnival within Maslin and Associates, as well as the individuals that you are now bringing in together for this collaborative event?
Well, I had my ups and my downs. So last year wasn't so well. Last year was one of the worst time that I had in the October space. But for the other 3 years, it was pretty all right. So this year, I hoping and praying, keeping fingers crossed, that we get bigger and better for this year.
I just want you to remind the viewing public and those who may be interested in being a part of Maslin and Associates and the other individuals who are part of this collaborative event. Tell them about registration, the launch, where they can get to you guys, and also the location of your launch on June 19th.
Okay. For this year presentation, as I said, Euphoria will be launching on the 19th of June, which will be Friday at Anchor's Bar. Event starts at 4 o'clock sharp, so it's from 4 to 9. We'll be doing pre-registration. So we'll be having a jam-pack collaboration together. Right, so you'll be having your specials, as we say, Father's Day. So bring out the fathers. Who knows, the lucky one will be going home with a little costume to jump up in the band. And you have contact numbers. Well, I can give my contact number, 366-1718, 366-1718. Silva will give his contact that you can reach out to us at Anchor's Bar. Come and have a fun and wonderful time what we have to offer.
For the 19th, like Marcin said, we're doing it real nice. It's all about us together as Tobago. The production for all the bands is Tobago. The stage show and everything you're going to see on that star-studded day is going to be Tobago. What we're doing here is a homegrown Tobago vibes. It's we and us portraying what Tobago have. So for all the patrons out there, if you're kind of in between of your bands yet you ain't quite decide, come out this Friday. Come out and see what we have. I guarantee you won't be sorry. And like Marcin said, you never know what you might find. Big shots to Anchor Bar, can't say it enough, and the whole team, the bartending team and management team for hosting us, or that's going to be hosting us this Friday. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. And all the people out there in TV land and radio land, we're going to see you guys out there too. This Friday is going to be going down. You don't want to miss it at all. Bring the kids because it's on the beach. Bring daddy because you're home and it's Father's Day, so that we game something. Bring mommy, bring the entire family. We have things there for you from beginning to ending. And Anchor Bar, we're doubling with Anchor Bar on that day because that's the launch to summer that they have there every year. So on top of that, we're giving you mass also. So Tobago, no matter what corner of the island you are, let me sing the one side of the island. Come out and check us at Anchor Bar.
I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning and sharing with us. And we wish you all success at your launch this Friday. Viewers, stay right here. We'll be right back. And remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Coming up, hot plates, cold drinks, and chilled vibes were the order of the month in Antigua and Barbuda. Top chefs, tasty menus, influencers, and foodies. The boxes were ticked, kitchens buzzing, and grills fired up. It's the one and only Antigua and Barbuda Culinary Month with Caribbean Passport TV on this station.
Stay tuned for what's coming next.
My name is Carl Page. I'm the head coach of St. Jago High School boys track and field team.
My name is Joseph Small. I am the head coach of the girls female program. Preparing an athlete is not just running on the track. You have the mental aspect, you have the nutrition aspect, and you have the support and the motivation. So there's a lot of factors that we have to look into, and we have to try to see how best we can deal with them as best as possible.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
From the reef to the road. From the reef to the road. From the reef to the road. Tobago calling. Sweet vibes, sweet wine, everybody falling. We bring the culture straight to you. Tobago updates, we keeping it true. Oh gosh. Tobago updates. On the screen, there we go. You're home for October, carnival show. From the big stage shine to the volleyball line. We bring Tobago to the world in real time. Tobago updates. Tobago updates. Carnival 2026. We said the pace, 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 pace. Wave your flag. Anywhere you're there, anywhere. Island love, trimming all around you. Yeah. Clicking lock on for the rhythm start. Tobago updates, Caribbean art, Caribbean art, 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 art.
Okay. 335, 336, 337, 338, 339,
Counting on your fingers again. No wonder you lose your business.
Grandpa, thanks for helping me start over.
You not lucky in business, you know. As a child, you tried to sell hog plum. That failed. As a teenager, you and your boyfriend tried to break into the jewelry business. But hey, where that boy end up?
He live in Aruka in the Grove. The golden one.
Oh, child, if you want to get into business, you have to have your financial records intact. But hey, do you know your numbers?
Of course, 624-333.
No, child, your numbers, your ratios, your equity ratios. You have a financial handicap.
What?
You need to see somebody about that. Anderson.
Who?
Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago, they offer tax and accounting services. They know about financial management.
Grandpa, I started this business with nothing.
And nothing is what you will end up with unless you call Anderson Services. Here.
Okay, this card is nice.
Yeah.
What's this?
Your rental fee. Have business will pay rent. Hot and groovy in the soca party.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to Tobago Update. We are on to the final segment of the Tobago Updates morning show. And here we have in studio with us Sergeant Tracy and Duncan of the TTPS, and we're talking about mental health tips for men. Good morning and welcome to you.
A pleasant good morning to you and to the viewing public of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you for having me this morning.
Now, what are some of the biggest mental health challenges men are facing today that perhaps aren't being talked about enough within the spaces?
Well, you know, men are just that, they are men. And what we often have is that they don't speak out. They do not, you know, we are not cultured to cry and to express our feelings. Most men, you know, they keep it inside, and, you know, you could have quite a bit of problems because they may keep it inside, not saying it, but they may project it in other ways that, you know, affect the persons around them, the people they love, you know, and the people that they interact with on a day-to-day basis.
Why do you think that there are many men who struggle to recognize when they're experiencing a mental health difficulties?
Well, I believe I am not a professional in the area, but I do believe that it has to do with, as I mentioned before, culture and just the way society, just the way our society has, grown our men, to be strong and to be, macho and, be the fixer, be the person who provides and protects, and, sometimes they need certain protection.
I'm glad you spoke of the protector part, because often we don't consider the fact that the men who are expected to protect would from time to time themselves need some protection. In our society, probably outside of a funeral, or maybe sometimes we do laugh at men who cry at funerals. And that would be one of the more difficult times for any human being, the loss of a loved one. But generally, we tend to make fun of men who show themselves as vulnerable. We have had incidents, or at least reports, let me put it that way, of men who were laughed at by police officers who claim that they were victims of domestic violence. And this is not a jab at the police. It's just, I always say that the police we have belong to our society. We created those. So that we have a culture of silence, because we tend to laugh at men who are prepared to show their vulnerability. How has the police service been treating with that issue of, being understanding that men too are becoming vulnerable and would need help?
First of all, if I may, just on behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and for any person who may have experienced that, I would like to humbly apologize, sincerely apologize on behalf of, whomever may have been, a victim of that.
And on their behalf, we accept.
And thank you. The police service is evolving into an organization where people are more sensitive and are more emotionally intelligent. And so in recent times, the entire police service has been trained in customer service, and we do have our special victims department who deals directly with that. And of course, they get more of that, that privacy, and they also have the resources to offer where they could advise them, where they could get further assistance and help. But in terms of the policing aspect of it, the Special Victims Department, they are trained and they have access to like the victim support unit, etc., who would assist in, if we have the situation of a man, they are professional and trained to deal with, to unpack whatever may need to be unpacked in that situation.
Now, you've touched earlier on men being providers and protectors and the fixers of society. For those whose self-worth rely heavily on or are tied heavily to the ability to provide, what healthy mindset shifts can help when they face setbacks such as unemployment, financial difficulties, or even career challenges? Because when men are within those scopes or those confines, they usually tend to be a lot more stressed, overwhelmed, or burnt out. What are some practical tips and advice that you can share?
That is so very true. And, as you mentioned how men may, the things that frustrate men. And, as women, we are able to find a friend. We talk more, we express our feelings more. We might even cry on our own. But men, they deal with it differently. And today, I came here equipped with a few tips for our men. So if I may, I will just go down there, so I want to tell our men that, we serve alongside you, we work alongside you, we interact with you, and we understand that you all face daily pressures. Yes? And that expectation that you should always be strong or to, be quiet and, just carry on and do it. We understand that your mental health matters, and we share these tips with respect, you know, and in solidarity with you all, because you all are very valuable to our society. So, first of all, the first tip, it is okay not to be okay, right? You know,
say that one again.
It is okay not to be okay. Yes? Acknowledging that you are not okay is not weakness. Yes? And this is actually the first step towards healing or fixing, because you might be fixing everybody, but sometimes you need to fix yourself. And the first step is to acknowledge that, hey, what? I'm not okay. Next tip. Try to talk to someone you trust. It does not have to be a therapist. It can be a friend, a brother, a work colleague, somebody who may have experienced the situation that you are experiencing that can help you. If you speak out, you heal faster than, or you deal with whatever it is faster than if you don't, if you stay silent, right? The third tip, know the signs of depression. Depression in men often appears as persistent anger. You know, it might be that you withdraw from your family and friends. You know, you may lost interest in the activities that you would usually partake in, right? You might have changes in your sleep or your appetite, and you might feel empty or hopeless. So these are symptoms. If you find you feeling any of them or more than one, you know, you need to deal with it. You need to seek some form of intervention for it. It's not anything to be ashamed of.
I want to ask Sergeant Duncan that the police service sent a female to discuss men's mental health. Is this an acknowledgement that contrary to how the society generally thinks, that men are, you know, just there almost robotic way, and women often seem to not think of that men carry feelings? Is this an acknowledgement by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service saying, look, we have women who understand that you go through difficult times and we are prepared to appreciate and to treat with you from that perspective?
Most definitely, most definitely. You have hit the nail on the head. Most definitely. This is what the TTPS is saying today. We are telling our men that we see you, that we recognize you, that we appreciate you, and that we want to help you. So, as a woman, now, the saying is that the man is the head and the woman is the neck to the action, right? So that we understand that we are a very integral part of our men being okay. And sometimes it would take a woman to say, how are you looking so today? Everything okay? Right? Your male counterpart may not do that, but a female may. So we play our role, and we recognize that we have an important part in our men being okay. And if I may continue with a few more tips. Yes. So, very important, protect your sleep, right? We know adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Sometimes it's not possible, but, you know, poor sleep, it does affect your mood, your judgment, and your ability to cope. So this is important. If you can't get it every night, try to get it some nights, even if it's on the weekend. You know, move your body, exercise. You know, if you're looking good, you feel good. Yes. Be mindful of alcohol and substance use. And I don't say abuse, but use still, right? Because oftentimes, you know, it's a culture here too, everything, you take a drink for that. But, you know, you have to manage that so that it does not turn into something that you need help for, right? Stay connected to your community. And this is not like the village that you grew up in, but your community, that circle of people that mean a lot to you, that are important to you, that can encourage you, that can motivate you. Yes? Whether it's family, church, you know, your workplace, right? Human connection is important. And if you have to seek professional help, do it without shame. Do it without shame. Oftentimes, the professional is able to break down things that you didn't even think about. But upon hearing it, you realize, you know, this really been happening to me, and I didn't know this is what was happening to me. And then when you get to that position, you're halfway to healing or to fixing whatever might be wrong with you, right? And just for everybody, check on the strong people. You know, you have, you know, You will say, he real strong, he thing, whatever, but check on him because sometimes that strength is hiding something that needs to come out, that needs to be fixed. Yes? And we just want to advise where you can get help. If you need help, right, there's the Lifeline of Trinidad and Tobago, and that number is 645-2800, right? And you have crisis support there 24/7. You can also dial 998. That is the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Yes? And the Trinidad and Tobago Mental Health Foundation, you could get community referrals and support. Your doctor or general practitioner, you could say a word to them and they will have resources that they can put you onto to get any assistance. So this June is Men's Mental Health Month, and just advising everybody, check on your men. Start a conversation, right? And break the silence.
Now, Sergeant Duncan, we want to thank you so much for coming on this morning and sharing these tips. We want to encourage our men out there that you are important and you are critical to society, and seek the help if you do need the help. And Alex, I think I would like you to close off, as you're a man. You may be able to connect a bit more with our male viewers with one bit of advice. One advice from male to male, because sometimes they still need that male community. In spite of the female being there to lift and to prop them up, they still need their male community as well.
One of the things that men need to do more is get together and not talk about cars and construction. Let's just talk about our issues, the issues that stand behind the car and behind the construction project and behind the next major business event here. Let's talk about ourselves as human, so that in our circles where we gather, we can truly be supportive to each other.
Awesome.
And I think that's a great way to close off the Tobago Updates morning show this morning. So viewers joining us, we want to say thank you for staying tuned here with us. We want to remind you to stay right here. GMT is up next. And remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
If you have been wondering, if you have been asking, questioning, Lukosi and Cindy Dick.
What we are seeing here today, I was in Tobago before when she had it in the ground. There's no greenhouse, it was just a concept. And seeing it today, it's exactly what we wanted from the innovation project, to be able to see scale up employment, you know, looking at that substitution when you talk about importing food, I think we're really on our way.
The owner of PEB's Prosperous Hands actually did approach the business development unit for a loan. So we do have a loan program specifically for very critical sectors in Tobago: agriculture, tourism and digitization. And I found it very important for us to invest in this initiative, and I can say for today that we feel a sense of pride having invested in this project and seeing it actually come to fruition.
We are very proud to be able to have an accomplishment we can show to the Tobagonians as one of the things that the Mega Farming Development Program has successfully collaborated on. The Mega Farming Development Program is really tasked with the optimal utilization of state lands.
What you see here today is a representation of my determination, resilience, faith in God, persistence, and I am so proud of where I've come from, what I've been through, and I just continue to give God all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. I want to say a special thanks to my spiritual covering, the Ramdials. Special thanks to my friends, family, destiny helpers, and all those who sowed into this vision for PEB's Prosperous Hands.
Congratulations, no more tribulation.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you all to B's and T's 2026, now in its 4th year and growing stronger with each edition. Today we are celebrating two very important occasions: World Bee Day and International Tea Day. By bringing them together, we have created something uniquely Tobago, a moment to reflect on nature, on wellness, on culture, and on the ties that bind us to this land and to each other.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Chanel Felix, and guys, you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting topics and conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Tobago's aviation sector has entered a new era. Minister of Works Julian John officially handed over the completed globally certified terminal building at the ANR Robinson International Airport to the transport officials and the THA yesterday, boasting of dual LEED green certifications, fully tested airfield lighting, and commissioned baggage security systems. The project now enters its operational phase following intensive readiness training. Additionally, Defense Minister Wayne Sturge confirmed that Trinidad and Tobago's Independence Day Parade is officially coming back this year during Friday's Standing Finance Committee sitting. A $2.3 million budget allocation will fund the entirety of the national celebrations, including traditional military parade, evening functions, and events at the Queen's Park Savannah, marking a major return after last year's complete absence of formal parade festivities. Additionally, in financial news, Parliament approved a $94 million supplementary allocation for the THA. Finance Minister Devendranath Tanku detailed that $15 million will cover essential pre-construction and architectural designs for Scarborough Secondary School, while the remaining $79 million will be dedicated strictly to salary increases and back pay arrears for Tobago teachers. And finally, a local success story is inspiring aviators locally. Tobago WASA employee Akil Patrick successfully earned his internationally recognized private pilot license through Brico Air Services. Operating under local Civil Aviation Authority regulations, the milestone marks a major achievement in his aviation journey. And that was our news in 90 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we'll be touching a bit on one of the items we heard in our news in 90 seconds. We're talking about the THA's mid-year allocation that was given by the Parliament, that was approved by the Minister for Finance. And we'll also be talking a bit about budget for the fiscal year 2026-2027. And who else to have that conversation with this morning other than the woman herself, Councillor Petalan Roberts, Secretary for Finance. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Miss Felix, and good morning, Tobago, and the viewing audience on the internet and all their social media handles.
Right. And who else to talk money with as it pertains to Tobago and Tobago's development but you? This morning we heard of the fact that after requesting $109 million, the THA was granted $94 million in the mid-year budget review. Tell us a bit about the request that went forward. What are some of the key things that, as Tobago is smack dab in the middle of the financial year, that you looked on and said, okay, these are the areas that we need supplemented?
Thank you very much for your question. And the mid-year review, we thought it best to ask for the very important things, the critical items on the plate, and teachers' arrears was one. This arrears stems from the period 2020-2023, and teachers' counterparts in Trinidad, they received their arrears and their increases, and therefore we thought it best to ensure that we have the resources available so that teachers can access the increase in salary. So the $74 million will treat with the arrears for the previous period, and the $5 million will treat with the increase in the salary that they currently receive right now. We did also request monies for Scarborough Secondary School. The initial request at the time was $200 million, but because of fiscal year is 12 months and we were already 6 months in, and then the mid-year review, usually that would be somewhere around April, May, and it was in June this year, and we only have a quarter left to the financial year. So we thought it best to reduce the request to $20 million, just to treat with the architectural designs. We have to do surveys, geotechnical surveys, and other technical and environmental assessments for the construction of the school. So this is really the pre-construction costs, which we know we will be able to do within the next 3 months.
And we saw that you met with the Secretary for Education just a few weeks ago, and the headlines read that you guys were discussing Scarborough Sec. When it comes to Scarborough Sec financing, we see that there was a lot of back and forth. Who pays for Scarborough Sec? How much does Scarborough Sec get? Is it a design build finance? Tell us a bit about, is there any concrete way forward in terms of who pays for what and what is allocated? Is there a specific number? Is it 500 million? Where does Scarborough Sec stand as it pertains to concrete financing? Are we there yet?
So mega projects such as these, we try to lean on public-private partnerships rather than, because it can put a strain on the allocation, not only for Tobago, but for Trinidad. So we've had several conversations with both the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Planning on the best way forward and the most efficient way and the fastest way to getting the school off the ground. In terms of the cost, I prefer the Secretary of Education to really deal with that, because cost, actually, when you're speaking cost, you're speaking activities, and he will better be able to tell you. We do have an estimated cost of the school, but the modality, that modality will also influence what it will cost. At this point, we are looking at public-private partnership. What that really means is that the THA will not put out all the money up front. Usually we will have the allocation for the project and then we execute. I don't really want to go into the modality. I prefer the Secretary of Education to go into the details of that, but at this point in time, it will not be a project where we have to fund it upfront, right? The Secretary with responsibility for education, we have had constant conversations both at the local level and at the national level on what the school would look like and what the school, as you said, there are a lot of back and forth as to who will construct the school. And at this point, the THA will be the executing agency, and we are looking at public-private partnership.
Right, and we know that the budget for Tobago is being read very soon, this month actually, and it's exciting.
Next week.
Yes.
1 week away.
Exciting times. Persons are looking forward to hear what is coming out from it. Although, I might add, it may not be very surprising because you have put out there your blueprint, you've put out there your vision. And so we kind of expect it to play on what has already been put out in the space already. But is there 2027 ideal where, okay, we are zoning in on this area of the blueprint particularly?
That's an excellent question, Ms. Felix. So, as you know, the blueprint is a 4-year plan. It's the pathway to prosperity. The pathway to prosperity actually came out of the strategic development planning pathway for the next 20 years. So we have disaggregated the strategic development planning pathway into 5 4-year plans. And the first installation is fiscal 2026. We have already done a little bit of the groundwork already by establishing some new divisions in this fiscal. Post the winning of the election, the victory at the polls. So we had to establish some new divisions. Very, very critical is the division of legal affairs, which will be the legal backbone of the Tobago House of Assembly, giving us legal counsel. They will lead the charge in terms of constitutional autonomy. Tobago is seeking greater autonomy, and this is the institution that will actually lead that, particularly because we'll have to do some amendments to the Constitution, and we will have to bring a bill that will somewhat supersede the 1996 THA Act. We also have a division of strategic planning and development, which will deal with the land use, looking at Tobago's entire geographical spread and even the demographics, and see what are the projects and where they should fit in on the Tobago 116 square miles. So they're looking at spatial planning, land use, and they will be managing and monitoring all the projects across Tobago. I just was on another program, and the host said to me that, Tobagoans are saying nothing is being done. They're not seeing anything. There is a very slow momentum, I will admit, of rolling out. We are rolling out, but it's a bit slow. But we do have a division that will monitor and ensure that these projects are being executed efficiently and quickly right now, and ensure that the projects that we are doing actually line up with the blueprint. We want that coherence and ensure that we stick to the official medium-term plan for Tobago. We also have a new division of youth empowerment and sport, and that is a breakaway that came out of the community development, youth development and sport. So we now have its own division focusing on youth development and sport in a very strategic way. Not that it wasn't given the attention, but I think now with youth not being the future, but youth is our now, because we have to get that foundation and what we want built up for youth established now. We have that division. And we also have a department focusing on the modernization and digitization of the public sector and building the institutional capacity of this institution. We call it Tobago House of Assembly. And we also have a new department that deals with public safety that actually supplements and bolsters the national security apparatus across Trinidad and Tobago, and more so Tobago. So this is the build out for to ensure that we actually roll out the blueprint. The blueprint has several factors. I just want to go into some key focus areas for fiscal 2027. Well, you know, tourism and agriculture are cornerstone of our economy. We want to focus on that sustainable tourism, ensuring that the communities are part of the tourism thrust. Chanel, when we talk about the community, I spoke with one young lady in Black Rock who has a passion for tourism and for her culinary art. So if we can integrate her culinary arts and the richness of our foods into the tourism product, I think we'll be able to attract persons to what we have in the community in terms of the food and our uniqueness of Tobago. So we want to ensure that communities are part of the tourism rollout across Tobago. As I said, food security and food sovereignty, and we want to focus on the local content and moving away from dependence on the external markets and external inputs, reduce the importation of goods and our agriculture in Tobago. Another key focus area is social inclusion with a deep focus on the differently abled. We want to pivot, and actually everything that we do must focus on integrating the differently able into society. We want to ensure that they have the necessary grants, the necessary infrastructure must be in place, the assistive technologies to help them, so that you and I can sit here with a differently able and we all have equal opportunities. We have equal voice here in Tobago. So we're going to shift away from that stigma that they can't.
Right.
And focus on what they can do, and they will now be integrated into society to actually be a part.
And even as you touched on that, you know, earlier you spoke about Sec and a huge percentage of the mid-year review going towards education.
Yes.
But we know that the special school in Tobago is carded to be redone, the one in Signal Hill. So how does that also fit into fiscal 2027? Is that a part of it, or we will focus?
It is a priority. No, it is a priority as well. It has been a priority for quite some time. We are looking at same thing, designs. We have started to look at the designs of that facility, because that facility will not only deal with school age, but it gives persons within that community a place even for the technical and vocational. So after your secondary and primary school life, you can now seamlessly transition into a technical vocational skill area, and just a place to hone your skills, a place where you can feel comfortable. And we also want to integrate them into the workspace. So after graduating from that institution, you can now seamlessly integrate into the employment life. And the Chief Secretary has mandated all secretaries to engage persons are differently able persons. It doesn't matter. I am thinking in my office, even if I have someone there just for 3 hours, and you know, most of these persons are at home and they have skills, but they don't have an avenue to actually hone and to see what these to master these skills, right? So I want to give opportunities, and this is not about gaining employment and gaining a salary, but it's total integration into the society, into the workplace. And having us, we're going to pivot, so we have to have all of Tobago accustomed seeing the differently abled integrated into our society.
Understood. You know, this development pathway to prosperity speaks a bit to economic growth. And I see that you did say that in the beginning of 2027, you want to see an increase in the total annual capital development expenditure to the equivalent of at least 1.5 times GDP, at least 2 times GDP by 2030, and at least 2.5 times GDP by 2035. Tell us a bit about how that fits into the plan next year, some of the things that we're going to see coming out from them, because we know that the private sector is who's really going to be boosting that growth.
Correct. And that's a very good question in terms of, you know, across Tobago, the dependencies on the state. And we don't want the Tobago House of Assembly to be the de facto or the default employer. My responsibility as Secretary of Finance is to empower entrepreneurs. Last night, I had a group of about 7 or 8 entrepreneurs. They just came back from the Guyana market to look at opportunities for exportation, and to expand their prospects in both the local and regional markets. So the way you want to see us in but in the next 10 years, we have to start the groundwork now, and the blueprint is actually the framework for which we are going to do that. So you're looking at that in terms of our targets, but we have key focus areas to get to that point. And we have a Tobago Export Enhancement Program. We have the Seed Capital Program. We have the Loan Guarantee Program, whereby I will not be giving a grant, but a guarantee, security as stand collateral for business people who wants to go to their financial institutions, but they just don't have the collateral to actually secure those loans.
Is there a cap on the loan guarantee program?
Yeah, the loan guarantee is from we're going to guarantee from $300,000 to $3 million, and that would be 80% of the actual loans, right? So we have lots of these programs. You have a capital investment program. I'm going to partner with IDB Invest. I've also spoken to the Minister of Planning, who said to me the World Bank has a program for the private sector for housing, and it's an actual mortgage program where they can get financing on the private sector side. So in order to get to those targeted results, there are programs and key focus areas that we have started. So the blueprint is a 4-year plan. You wouldn't expect to see all these key focus areas being advanced, but I have identified some of them and you would see them on Monday at the budget presentation.
All right. And talk to us a bit about the contractors, because you know, whenever you're here, there are contractors watching, and they want to know what's the latest updates. How are they being dealt with from the THA, and how are they being considered in the activities happening for development, whether it's school repairs, whether it's the Scarborough Secondary School development, the special school, all this development that's happening to try to boost the private sector.
Yes.
You know, how does the contractors and they come into that picture?
Well, I expect that contractors will do their part and be ready. Sometimes when we have to engage contractors outside of Tobago is because we just don't have the capacity. But I want to encourage our contractors to get your both technical resources and your financial resources at hand, because we will be rolling out. We have already started to roll out several projects across Tobago in terms of the infrastructure, and we continue to do that. I don't want to get into the process, because there is a procurement process across the space, but there are opportunities for all contractors across Tobago, because we will be building out projects and programs that will take us on the pathway to prosperity, and there are opportunities for all. On the flip side, contractors, as you know, were owed millions of dollars, and we continue to liquidate that debt. I've started in this year. I've already released about 35 million, so we made payments sometime, I think it was either December, January. We have made some payments to contractors, and we continue to do that. The debt that we inherited on the capital side was about $700 million. And you can imagine our development program budget each year is about on average 200 million. So it's therefore very difficult to liquidate that debt in one go. So I do have a proposed plan for 3 years to liquidate that debt, but we have already started. If I were to calculate how much we have spent already, it's close to $120 million in actually just liquidating debt over the last 3 years. And we continue to do that. There's another tranche coming up, Division of Infrastructure. They will be making those payments. We continue to settle the outstanding debts to contractors. Just note, I wanted Tobago public to understand that we cannot utilize the parliamentary appropriation. Governments, or if you listen to governments across the globe, the debt to GDP ratio in some cases is extremely high, and the debts that they carry on their books are extremely high, and that's just how sometimes you run government and you run economies. Some of them are just run on debt. I try to manage the debt as best as possible so it would not be a burden on us going forward. So I have to balance managing that debt and executing and putting resources to execute projects across Tobago.
Understood. And, finally, as we wrap up our discussion this morning, are there any surprises coming in this budget for Tobago?
Well, I wouldn't say surprises, because we do have the blueprint. The blueprint is actually the framework upon which we actually basing our budgets going forward. So if you look in the blueprint, and there are areas, if you don't see them now, they will be rolled out within the next 4 years. That is one. 2, I've had consultations with groups, 8 stakeholder groups spanning from youth and civil society right down to the faith-based organizations, asking Tobago and representatives of Tobago, what would you like to see in the budget? We had an online portal, so even if you're not part of a group, but you have an individual recommendation or you have an individual point that you want to make, as a Tobagonian, you have an opportunity to raise your concerns, to share what you'd like to see in the budget. So really and truly, in terms of surprises, I think the only surprise will be maybe how much we intend to spend and the actual programs and projects. Now, at the budget, I will not be outlining the projects in detail. I will speak to the investment in the key sectors of Tobago, and at the budget debate on Thursday, the secretaries will go into what the investment would look like specifically for these sectors. And further, when we present, when we get the budget numbers from the national budget standpoint, I come back to the house with a more refined budget position for Tobago, because this is a request. A request doesn't necessarily mean that you will get it, but I'll come back, because we are an accountable and transparent government. I'll come back to the people of Tobago and we actually get the allocations and say, these are the things that are confirmed to be done. But the budget is a plan. It's a request of what we want to do for Tobago, to take Tobago to a pathway to prosperity. And these plans will be well articulated on Monday, June 22nd, 2026.
And we look forward to that. And we would be definitely broadcasting that budget presentation right here on Tobago Updates. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back after this. See you soon.
Coming up, hot plates, cold drinks, and chill vibes were the order of the month in Antigua and Barbuda. Top chefs, tasty menus, influencers, and foodies. The boxes were ticked, kitchens buzzing, and grills fired up. It's the one and only Antigua and Barbuda Culinary Month with Caribbean Passport TV on this station.
Stay tuned for what's coming next.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships, it's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
My name is Carpage. I'm the head coach of St. Jago High School boys track and field team.
My name is Joseph Small. I am the head coach of the girls female program. Preparing an athlete is not just running on the track. You have the mental aspect, you have the nutrition aspect, and you have the support and the motivation. So there's a lot of factors that we have to look into, and we have to try to see how best we can deal with them as best as possible.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Make your goals a reality this season with Mount Pleasant Credit Union. Tobago's choice, we got you smiling. Come and feel that mid-year feeling, oh yeah. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice. You know, every loan wants to prove more reasons to celebrate. Chance to win big, doesn't that feel great? Up to $3,500 in exciting gift certificates. Share investment starts as low as $2,500. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, let your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice, you know.
Yeah. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates, ladies and gentlemen. This morning we are in studio and we're chatting with Onika Copeland as well as Katrina Cordner, who are both owners of Tigo Signal. This morning we'll be learning a lot about this local rideshare company. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Ms. Felix.
All right, tell us a bit about the company. What is the company for persons who are first hearing about Tigo?
So Tigo is a rideshare company that is locally built for Tobagonians by individuals who understand Tobago.
Understood. And tell us a bit about why you think that Tobago actually has the market for this, because there's a number of other rideshare companies who have tried to break into Tobago without any success. Tell us a bit about why you think that the market in Tobago is right for this.
Well, in looking at the development that Tobago has been seeing over the last, I would say, last few months, the year, I've been seeing a lot of upgrades in infrastructure, as well as I can say that I've been seeing an increase in tourism and a need for an additional stream of income for the locals. So, based upon our market research, we would have seen that yes, everybody would like to buy a new vehicle, but when you purchase a new vehicle, you know, that's an additional debt you have to deal with. So an additional stream of income is something that we think is basically the most attractive thing for the economy right now, as well as we see the need for it in regards to the tourism and our locals, because there's a lot of variety in fares that people experience. Let's say you want to go from Scarborough to Crown Point. One driver might tell you 60, another driver might tell you 100, and then one might say 150. So in seeing that need, we would love to stabilize the transportation scene.
Understood. And tell us a bit about the platform. Is it an app? Is it a website? How can persons sign up to be a part of it? Is it active? Is it live right now? Is it going to be launched very soon? Tell us about that.
Okay, so currently Tigo is a web app, and we're in the phase of developing the iOS and Google app. So in the next week, we'll be doing beta testing, and then on July 3rd, we will be having our launch where the app will be fully accessible to both riders and drivers.
Understood. And so tell us a bit about what that experience would look like for the average person. Take us through, as well as what would it be like for drivers as it pertains to the user interface.
We'll have two separate apps, one app for the drivers, one app for our riders. With the drivers, there's a sign-up process that they go through. They submit the required documents, which is simple and comparable to all other rideshare apps. Your vehicle verification information as well as your personal verification information. And we've taken it a step further where we would like to be doing, well, we are and have started doing a vetting process where we meet with these drivers in person to, you know, get a good feel of the individual, because we're looking for reliability, we're looking for someone that's friendly. We're not just placing anyone as drivers, and then once they get through that vetting process, they're available to go live on our app, and they'll be receiving the notifications if a ride is available around the area that they are in. And once accepted, a rider has the option of paying the driver in both cash and via card, or if they'd like to upload funds to their wallet, so that option is there. So from both the driver and rider, the interface is relatively simple, and if you're someone that has traveled to Trinidad, it's comparable to Allridey or TT Rideshare. If you're someone that's accustomed to the States, it's comparable to like Lyft or Uber. So that's the experience that we're trying to keep it at an international level, but user-friendly and accessible.
Understood. And usually companies of this nature, you know, when you're starting up, are you a startup or have you been operating previously before Tigo? Are you a startup company?
We are a startup. So this is a company that we built from seeing the need in Tobago in itself. So we've been, we're not locals of Tobago, but we've been living in Tobago for years. And in seeing the need is really what drove us to do this, because we've seen other apps available, for example, in Trinidad, but they haven't extended or into Tobago. Yeah. Well, in my opinion, I would say it's given the impression that Tobago is an afterthought. I don't know the approach that they've taken, but we are trying to build a community around this. We would like for this to be something that is for Tobago, built in Tobago, because Tobagonians are very patriotic.
And usually with startups of this nature, when you are at this stage, you have that seed round where you solicit investors, partners to come on board. Is that a part of your business structure, or this is fully self-funded?
Currently it's fully self-funded.
But we do have support from the local heads in the community. They're very interested in seeing Tigo launch and be successful because the need that is in the community, it's finally that someone has taken it seriously and is willing to solidify it.
So would there be a seed round where you would be soliciting investors, possibly for an equity share in holding in your company? What is the plans moving forward?
I mean, it's an option that we're looking at, but for now we're trying to keep it funded between us. Yeah, but it's definitely an option that we're looking at when in terms of expansion, because we do have a 6 months to 12-month plan to expand from not only rideshare, but we wanna offer an experience as well. So we wanna add we have the idea of adding tours. So we wanna utilize like local. We're looking at the boatmen in Charlottesville. You know, we're looking at people that have jeeps, so you can get a drive all the way up to countryside. That driver stays with you, you know, and they take you to different spots, and then they take you back to where they would have picked you up, and you know, that's an entire experience you would have had from the driver to the boat owner. Then you go to probably like Lovers Bay or whichever location, Pirates Bay, and then you come back, and so that's really the idea that we have. So maybe then we might get an investor.
Excellent. So is the app or is the platform live at the moment, and how soon can persons begin actually engaging and using it?
So it's our website right now.
The website app is live, has been live, so it's pretty user friendly. The rider and driver side completely different. You just select which option you are on, and it asks you for general information to fill out. Once that is done, from our end, we will contact both the rider and driver. For the drivers, we go through the required documents, and then once it meets our standards, we do the inspection and vetting. For riders, they're added to a channel, and from there, they're kept abreast on all Tigo-related activities.
Understood.
But it's not accessible in terms of actual rides.
Right, that's it.
So we have a wait list, and as of next week, we'll be doing our beta testing, and then for July, it's when we'll be having the full accessibility to the island.
All right, excellent. And even as we wrap up this one, can you tell persons how they can get into contact with you, how they can find the website, everything else that they need to know? How can they stay connected with the Tigo brand?
Okay, no problem. So we have a WhatsApp channel. We also have
Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Linktree. Once you type in Tigo Rides on Google, we'll be popping up.
Right. Excellent. And are you girls into IT? Are you?
Actually, we are in the finance sector.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we're both in banking. However, I've been studying IT for a bit under 2 years now. So that's kind of my passion. And she's the operations manager.
So not our first businesses either. We both had previous local businesses, and the idea just honestly came to us, and it is something that we feel very passionate about.
All right. Well, we also look forward to the success of Tigo and persons really engaging with it and utilizing it to get across the island seamlessly. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's discussions. We want to thank you for your likes, your shares, and comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am Chanel Felix, and have a productive day.